Hello everyone, Jester Bell is back, and today we are going to talk about my reaction to the Batman trailer that was shown at DC FanDome. Now, I thought that DC FanDome was probably going to be a bust, just like Comic-Con at home was, but it changed my mind. It wasn't as much news as I was expecting as they were hyping up, but overall, I think that it was a really good event to have, and it was really great to have, new announcements and new trailers and new reveals after it's been just a complete dry spell through 2020, obviously. So right now we're going to obviously talk about Batman, the Batman by Matt Reeves, and what I thought of the trailer. Now, there just really wasn't a lot in this trailer, but what it did was it just established a tone for the movie and the kind of characters that would be in it and what they'd be doing with those characters, and people just went crazy for it. And I agree. I think it was a good trailer, and I just think that it's good to see that people so far are happy with what DC Movies is doing with a Batman property, especially since it's just been so hard for them to really find their identity on screen. So let's talk about the trailer. So first of all, I love the choice of music. Again, I loved how it established a darker tone with this movie again. My favorite thing about the trailer was the Riddler. This is obviously going back to Nolan's more realistic take on Batman, which I think really works, and I think really is what brings people to Batman, that he can be a bit more of a realistic superhero, and it's interesting to see a superhero who fits more into the real world. But they've never really explored someone like the Riddler in this serious setting before. They've usually just done it with the Joker or Ra's al Ghul, who is already used in the movies. Usually it's pretty much the Joker who they focus on in this really realistic sense in the Nolan movies and in the comics where it carried over. They've never focused on someone who I think a lot of people consider to be a lot sillier, like the Riddler. I think that he's a character that people just don't take seriously at all. So to have him really heavily featured in this trailer with what we've got, to have him doing a voiceover in a riddle or a rhyme, it really got me excited. I'm like, okay, we're finally going to get a serious take on this character that sees what we can really use with him in a mystery. This is a very Sherlock Holmes inspired movie, as I've been reading about. So I'm just excited. I do like a Riddler that's seen as kind of who is kind of seen as a bit of an idiot. Not an idiot, just that people underestimate him. I like it when Riddler is a character who people don't take seriously, who they do see as a little sillier, and that, but he proves to be actually very intelligent and very cunning. So while this is going to be a serious take on him in this movie, I'm glad for that. I hope that he becomes a character that people underestimate, and that they are proven how formidable he can be in the movie. So I really like the Riddler. I really liked the Penguin. It really shocked me, the makeup that they did for him in this movie. It's like, it's not the prosthetics of the Batman Returns version, which is very cartoonish and very fantastical. This is like, what would Penguin look like in real life? And they just did subtle things with his makeup, like the nose and the face and the chin, that just made him look like it was Penguin brought to screen. Like, this is exactly what he would look like if he was a real person. I absolutely just loved the glimpse we got of him. And then I liked the little bit we got of Catwoman. I don't really like the ski mask we saw her wear. I hope that even though we're doing a realistic take on these characters, that we don't completely shy away with what the characters are supposed to look like. I think a little bit of the costuming is fine, brought into a real world. But so I hope they give Selina an actual costume eventually. I know it's just a prototype, but I just think Zoe Kravitz looks amazing. She 100% looks the part of Selina. Now, the one part of the trailer that I am not completely sold on is the Bruce Wayne aspect. I love the way Batman looks, but I'm not sure I'm sold on the kind of emo Bruce Wayne we're seeing. I think he looks a little too, I can't take him as seriously if he's gonna he looks a little too much like a goth kid. And no, I'm not talking about the eyeshadow, which he should have. I'm talking about, scenes where he's got like the emo Peter Parker hair in front of his face. And I'm just not sure if I'm sold on that yet. But I'm sold on everything else in the trailer. I just want to see how this Bruce Wayne plays out. Some people have suggested that maybe this is an earlier time in his life where he still hasn't gotten his act together yet. That could be interesting to see. So I'll just say with that though, we already did get an origin for him in Batman Begins, and it was just perfect, and I don't think we really need a secondary one. So the other thing I will say about this trailer is it does seem a little repetitive, like we've already had a Batman origin movie in his early days. Do we really need another one? I'm so glad that we're doing Penguin and Riddler and doing different characters we haven't used before, but I don't want it to just become a repeat of Batman Begins, which was an adaptation of Year One. I don't want this to just be another adaptation of Year One. But overall, I really like the tone. I like the characters they're using, and I like the costuming overall. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to work out. I'm really looking forward to seeing it in the theater if we ever get theaters back open. So thank you for listening to my review of the Batman movie with just the little bit we've gotten so far. It looks like they really at least knew how to sell it to fans. And I'll be back next time when we get an even fuller trailer to discuss that. Thank you for watching.